For my third set of 3 exercises, I will begin with kettlebell Turkish get up. The muscles used in this are the shoulders, core, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. This challenges your core and mobility as you stand up and lie back down again, all while holding the kettlebell. The way you do this is you lay flat on the floor and your right knee is up at 90 degrees and your right hand is up with the kettlebell, while your left arm and left leg are flat on the floor. And then you pull up and keep with the kettlebell as high in the air as possible above your head, and then you raise your legs as well. Then you go onto one knee, and then you go fully up and stand. All this, the kettlebell is above your head the whole time. And then you go back down on the floor, change hands, and do that again. And do this 5 times each side because it is a harder exercise, and 30 seconds break in between. And then for the second exercise, it is the kettlebell goblet squat. So for this one, I'm going to change the kettlebell to the harder one. And this works your shoulders, core, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. So this one, you're holding the kettlebell upside down as you perform a regular squat. So the kettlebell's upside down in both hands, evenly spread. Then you perform a squat, and then you rise back up. And doing this for 10 times, because you don't have to swap sides. And then 30 seconds break after those 10 times. And then repeat that again for a third 10 times. And those are the 3 exercises. And then the third exercise is the kettlebell racket swing. This uses the shoulders, core, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. This is the same as a regular squat, but holding the kettlebell with just one hand at a racked position, so brought into you, and then the other hand that isn't holding the kettlebell out to the side as you squat. And then do this for 8 times each side with 30 seconds break in between. By now, the athlete should be getting more tired in the way they do it. So now there's an extra 30-second break now. And then repeating those 3 exercises, again, 30-second break in between each side and activity. The way I've done it is definitely progressive because it gets harder and the number of reps go up depending on the activity, just to make it harder for my client. The last 3 exercises will be the kettlebell regular row. This includes the shoulders, biceps, back, core, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. So this means legs shoulder width apart, one hand to the side, your hand to the side, and with your other hand holding the kettlebell, you bring it up so it's in line with your back, and your shoulder is your elbow goes past that at 90 degrees if possible, and then you bring it back, and then repeat on that same side again, and do it on that side for 9 times, and then switch sides, and don't do it alternatively, just keep to one side and then work the other, because then that will be more effective, because this activity works into the back of the upper body and also challenges the core muscles due to the rotational force caused by the kettlebells. And my second exercise is the kettlebell windmill. This uses your shoulders, core, glutes, and hamstrings. So you have legs shoulder width apart, one arm with the kettlebell up in the air straight, your other arm down to the side, and then you lean down, touch the floor with the hand without the kettlebell, whilst moving your back so that it's easier to the side though, not forward, and then keeping the kettlebell in the air above your head, and then coming back up straight. Do this 9 times on one side, then have a 30-second break, and then do it 9 times on the other side. And the last exercise is going to be the kettlebell bottom up clean. So one hand on your waist, the other hand has kettlebell. So you're on the floor with the kettlebell, legs bent slightly just so I can reach the kettlebell, bring it up, and then so you're straight at the end and the kettlebell is facing upwards next to your head and your elbow is into your side as you do it. And this works your shoulders, back, core, glutes, quads, and hamstrings. And then bring it down, and then repeat this 9 times, one side, 30-second break, then 9 times on the other side, 30-second break. This improves your clean technique and strengthens your wrist core muscles with this exercise variation, and it will just overall help you keep nice and warm. That's it for my main session, and so I'll set it up accordingly. And when I'm doing the exercises, I will first begin by demonstrating what I'm going to make them do. So I'll demonstrate it once, explain it with them doing it once, and then I will make them start it. And whilst they're doing that, I'll be watching them and instructing them of how to do it correctly, and I'll be making sure that they don't injure themselves. And I'll be standing to the side on this one or directly in front. It's an appropriate level for my client, and if it needed to be changed, I will change the weights accordingly to whatever the client is comfortable doing. For my cool down activity, is to reduce my client's heart rate and to make them calmer and to make sure that there's going to be less muscle stiffness and less chance of them injuring themselves or pulling any muscles. So with my warm up, my cool down, I'm going to do static exercises. And so I'm going to start with putting one arm across your body and your other arm holding on to that, and then holding that for 30 seconds, and then switch, so the other arm is doing it, for 30 seconds. And then for my second one, the shoulder, the hand down your back and your elbow up, and with your other hand to hold on to the elbow and pull it inwards, and then 30 seconds, and then switch. And then some, again with the shoulder, the arm circles, small to big, then big to small like we did in the warm-up, but this will help. And then some lunges, but this time stepping back and then lunge, then in, then back and lunge, and then just stretching less muscles of the legs, so sitting down on the floor, back up straight, and then your legs out across the floor, reaching, trying to touch your toes, and then bringing one leg in to your inwards to the inner thigh and holding it there, and then leaning forward as much as possible, then switching legs, and then bringing the legs outwards into a V shape, then one hand on the leg and then the other above your head, reaching towards it as far as possible, and changing legs and doing the same on the other side, and then making just nice and calmly both hands out in front of you with your legs on the V, reaching as far as possible, then bringing back slowly, then just moving your neck slightly just to make sure, shoulder rolls, so hands on the shoulders, rolling them back and then rolling them forward nice and slowly, and then just using standing up again, and then holding the foot to your, trying to reach your lower back, and then just hold your foot there, and then switch legs after 30 seconds. Then just making sure my client is cooled down, and then whilst I'm explaining this, I'll be debriefing my client and telling them what I was teaching them during the session and what they were learning, which was how to do a full body workout using kettlebells and lots of shoulder work. And then I will make sure that my client knows they did well and that they're working hard. And then I will pack away, making sure all the equipment goes in the correct spaces, and also making sure that it's safely done, so there's no one in the way while I'm doing that and working for that, and then that should work quite well. Now just overall make sure it's all explained thoroughly.